Hi, Hector. My name is Nikki. It's nice to meet you today. How are you doing?
I'm okay, Nikki. I'm glad to be talking to you.
Good, good. Well, before we get started, I sent you an informed consent form that you signed and sent back to me. So I just wanted to review that with you. Do you have any questions about it?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, basically all it's saying is that anything that you say to me in this session during this Zoom call will be recorded and you're consenting to that recorded session. Everything will stay between you and I unless, I have to release this due to legal issues or if if your medical provider needs it, anything like that. So I just wanted to get that out of the way and make sure that we have a mutual understanding on that.
Yep, understood.
Okay, great. So can you tell me a little bit about what is bringing you in today?
Yeah, well, I had friends and family suggest that I talk to somebody. I had an injury about 5 months ago, and I was in the hospital for several months, and it has kept me from being able to do the work that I was doing, which was construction. And I just haven't been able to provide for my family in the way that I had planned and that I would like to. And I have physical deficits now that I'm battling, and I'm just finding myself at home every day watching TV, and it's just been very difficult.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can understand that. So basically, I'm going to reiterate and make sure I'm understanding. You were working construction for a long time. That's what you've been doing to provide for your family. You sustained an injury, and now you're not able to do that.
Right. And I definitely have been very depressed since, dealing with right now I'm have a limp and I need a cane to walk. And obviously construction is a very physical job and I'm just not able to do it. And I just don't really know what use I am now to myself and to my family. And I've had family and friends offer support. But I've just kind of been negating, and I do have chronic pain still from my injury.
Mhm.
Um, and admittedly, I do drink to help with that pain.
Okay. So you said that your friends and family have offered support, and you've kind of been distant from that. Can you tell me a little bit more about that and kind of where you feel like that distance is coming from?
Sure. I think I just feel a bit shameful in that I used to be the provider for my family, and I used to take a lot of pride in that. Um, and now that I can't do that anymore, I think I just don't really know who I am in terms of our relationship if I'm not the guy that's providing. Um, and they've been very understanding, but I noticed that it's starting to take a toll on them the way that I behave. I just don't really know how to not be that way anymore.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's really understandable when you go through a big change like this. But I think what's important to recognize is that you do have a support system that is there for you. And what I'm hearing is that you recognize the connection between your behavior and the relationship with your family. So let's talk about maybe in a hypothetical ideal situation, what would your relationship with your family be like, regardless of kind of the situation that you find yourself in? So I guess I'm asking, what was your relationship with your family like prior to the accident?
Prior to the accident, I when I would come home from work, I was super active with my kids. They're very much into sports and things, so being out in the yard with my kids was, kind of a routine. And um, since my accident, obviously, I haven't been very physical, so I haven't been doing those same activities. And they're understanding and want to try to do other things, but I'm just not up for it, I guess, because it's not the same. I also, like I said, take pride in supporting my family, and I don't really want my wife to work. Um, Prior to my accident, when I was working, I really enjoyed the fact that she got to stay home with the kids. And now she is needing to work.
Mhm.
Um, so it's just a big change.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So I think it's really positive that you recognize that your relationship with your kids and your wife is changing, and you recognize the behavior that you are expressing might be due to that change in that relationship. Because what I'm hearing is that your family is very supportive of you and loves you very much and just wants you to be happy and healthy. You mentioned before that you've taken to drinking a little bit. Would that be okay if we kind of discussed that part of things?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So let me just pull up your audit form that you filled out. Okay. So tell me a little bit about these questions and like what kind of thought provoking that you had when you were filling this form out.
Um, the when I was listing, how severe things were.
Yes, so the audit form asked you basic questions about alcohol use.
Yeah, I try to keep track and really think about it. Um, the drinking really comes when I'm watching TV.
Okay.
And I think I'm just trying to pass the time.
Mhm.
I also do have chronic pain from the accident, so it's helping with the pain and helping pass the time. Um, it started with just a couple drinks initially once I was starting my recovery. Now I think as like the depression gets more severe, the amount that I've been drinking increase in um, quantity and how often.
Mhm. So I'm hearing you say that the drinking usually happens kind of when you're sitting around, because you're immobilized, which is understandable. You're still recovering from a very traumatic injury. So it makes sense that you have a lot of free time. And I know that that's something that is weighing on you very heavily. Would you say that the drinking is due to the fact that you are sitting around so much, or is it more so to deal with the pain, or kind of in between, kind of both?
Probably both.
Mhm.
Um, I guess I have been kind of excusing it just as far as the pain goes, but I am sure, the fact that I'm sitting around makes it easier. If I were to be trying to move around more, obviously I wouldn't really be able to drink as much, but when I'm sitting in front of the TV, I just kind of keep going. I don't really think about it.
Sure. What was your relationship with alcohol like prior to the accident?
I would say uh pretty casual. I didn't uh it never was cause for concern, I should say. Um would have a couple drinks once or twice a week, mainly on the weekends. But that's about it.
Okay. Just hearing you say that you recognize that prior it wasn't cause for concern makes me kind of makes me realize that you understand now that it's a little bit more of a cause for concern, which is I'm hearing that you want a positive change in your life. Would that be correct in me assuming that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I was kind of shutting down when my family and friends would um initially say they were worried about my drinking. Um Especially now that my kids are starting to take notice, I definitely would like to make a change. Just
Okay,
not really sure how, I guess.
for sure. Okay, well, that's what I am here for. But just hearing that you are in that positive state of wanting to actively make a change makes it easier for us to kind of form a goal and give you the resources that you need to kind of start taking those steps towards a healthier recovery. It's very common for people to self-medicate when they have sustained an injury like this. So you are definitely not alone. But let's maybe talk about some goals that you might have in terms of your drinking. Like, again, in an ideal situation, like what would you like your weekly alcohol intake to look like compared to now?
Um, if I were to continue at all to intake, I would like to go back to how it was before, which is just a casual drink once or twice a week with friends. Definitely making sure that it's in a social setting rather than, oftentimes I am drinking alone now.
Mhm.
Um, while my wife is at work and I'm just at home and the kids are at school. So um, I would like to, one, not really go to drinking alone because then I think that's when I just kind of lose control as far as quantity. And to just making sure that I'm not drinking if I'm in a poor state of mind.
Okay. Those are really great goals to start with. Especially, you know, going from the amount that you are currently consuming to not at all. I think it's important that you recognize that for you, it's kind of going to take a little bit at a time, which is totally normal and totally fine. So yeah, we can definitely work with that. Maybe the next time you come in, we'll kind of get more of a feel for taking some smaller steps towards that goal. But for this session right now, I just kind of wanted to get like an overall intake on you and how you're feeling. But it sounds overall like you are ready to kind of make steps towards that change towards a healthier lifestyle. So that's great. That's definitely a positive thing. So let's think about maybe goals in terms of your family interaction. I know that you want to be more involved with your kids, but you seem to be very well aware of the fact that that's going to look different now than it used to. So I think next time too, we can brainstorm about what kind of activities you could partake in with your kids that don't necessarily involve you having to be active or be outside or anything that really reminds you of the things that you can't do anymore, because there's a lot of options that I think that we can come up with that don't involve maybe watching so much TV or drinking. So yeah, we can definitely work towards that. But right now, I believe that we are kind of approaching the end of our session. So Hector, it was really nice meeting you, and I look forward to continue working with you.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to get started with you.
Good. I'll see you next time.
Thank you.